Okay, it's being live streamed. Going to record.
Drop in.
We're on YouTube. Hold on, let me see. So getting that done. Okay, we're live.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. A lot of times, most of you know, some of you, if you're like me, you have this high school senior, and he or she, thinking about college, but don't know how to apply for scholarship. And as parents, a lot of times you don't know. And the only time you may know only when the school sends the information out to the student. But there are a lot of scholarships that are out there. And I have somebody, a dear friend. I know this is like I want to say this is her purpose in life. This is like God said, I'm gonna let you do this, and then at a certain point, I want you to do this. So she has been committed and dedicated to helping students find and get scholarships. Let me say this, because I mean, if I've seen a lot of people, and I just want to say this, that they have you, or you want to get information about scholarships, then click this link and come. Then you go, and then at the end, it's a cost. It's pay this, and we'll send you this. And I think I went to one with my son, and they just gave this big spiel, and at the end, like, well, we're gonna this is the cost. We're gonna set you up with somebody, and they're gonna help with this. I'm like, that's all I've been doing. But a lot of times, parents, they go out and they just buy it, and they don't have to do all of that. So here's a person who is dedicated. So Ebony, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the scholarships and take any questions. If we don't have questions, I just ask what I would be asking as a parent, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Well, thank you. First of all, Mr. Davis, thanks for inviting me to attend your platform, be on your platform. I know you've done a lot of work, obviously as a parent, but also very much involved in the field of education. So just thank you for this opportunity. Hello to everyone on here this evening. So a little bit about myself, long story short, I served as a high school counselor, worked in the high school counseling arena for 16 years. I enjoyed working with students in Fulton County schools and Cobb County schools. And just recently this year, I took a job with Hatching Results, where I'm able to now train high school counselors, well, not high school, but just all school counselors at different levels, as well as administrators across the nation. So I fly all the time and get to do what I love and help many students, thousands of students, by way of their school counselor. So, but Mr. Davis hit the nail on the head. That is absolutely my passion, is scholarship searching success. Primarily the college and career arena. I feel like a lot of our Black and brown kids, they don't get access to the information as early as possible, and sometimes not as much as possible either. So they may not have identified an adult that they go to, whether it be their school counselor or teacher or community member, anyone. They haven't identified anyone that they feel can really support them through this process. So I echo what you said earlier. Any type of scholarship service that's charging a fee, run fast, because there's no need for anyone to have to pay for scholarship help, especially for searching for it, as well as getting some guidance in terms of how to do the essays and things of that nature. That information is public and it's free. So I do host different workshops here and there. And I personally get paid to go to schools and Boys and Girls Clubs and Upper Bound programs and things of that nature to provide my workshops. But for the times that I do volunteer my services, I always offer a free individual session as well. So I just had the pleasure of presenting at the Next Step Education College Bootcamp last month. And so from that platform, I was able to offer some free individual support. And I would love to do the same thing for those who are able to dedicate their time and just volunteer their time in being here today. That speaks volumes. You can't get time back, but you can definitely get plenty of money. And so that's why we're here today to connect you all with those resources and how to get money. So Succeed with Drive, I'm going to enter on my contact information and things of that nature as we continue. But Succeed with Drive, that is my passion. I post Show Me the Money Mondays every single Monday. So as we get into scholarships and it being springtime, what opportunities are still available, I will share my screen and show my Instagram account so you can see some of the opportunities that I've posted recently that are still available and still amazing. So I did put housekeeping items. I did put a link to the scholarship resource guide. So a lot of the information and the outline about the topic and the presentation that I use, there's an outline in that digital resource guide that you can access to see all of the, the information that's relevant to scholarships, as well as some helpful tips and resources, such as the top social media sites to follow with regard to scholarship searching. You shouldn't have to sift through and search for that information. That information is boundless. And if you just position yourself in the right arenas, the information will fall into your lap. And then all you need to do is just organize it. So speaking of organization, I also put a link to the application organizer in the chat as well. It's a blank spreadsheet. One of the main tips or ways to be successful in this process is to organize and prioritize your deadlines. So organization, I know it sounds cliche, but organization is key. And with that, students as early as 9th grade year can start to search for scholarships and start to organize them via the application organizer. So then when they become eligible for these opportunities in their junior or senior year, that information will be at their fingertips. They don't have to search. So when you're taking all these AP and IB and honors classes, you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You've already done that as a 9th or 10th grader. So I could go on and on. So I'm going to now stop and let Mr. Davis.
We do have some people, and I'm just going to ask those who are watching if they have any questions. Go ahead and put those questions, and I will ask that. But let me go. Here's one thing. Okay, you know my son. Hey, you and him, and so here's my thing is it's April 24th, and I'm like, when does school start? So first day of classes, and he has decided what college he wants to go to. So first day of class is August 14th. So this may be some parents who are similar situated than where I am, and that is, man, it's too late. It's too late. Too late. The scholarships. It's too late for my child. It's too late for my child to get scholarships, but I still see a lot of information being sent out for college scholarships. So I want you to sort of address that parents ought not to be thinking that it's too late. Students ought not to be thinking it's too late. And you did mention about starting early on in 9th grade. And I agree with that, because what I found out, and I have some young people that are on here and I talk to them about, there are a lot of scholarships that are for community service. And all of a sudden, they have done 3 years of high school and no community service. And then it's going to look like these people like, oh, you're just doing this to get the scholarship. And a lot of times it's not too early. And I've seen some with youth ministries that you can get a scholarship if you are a youth and involved in your church. And a lot of times we see a lot of the fraternity and sororities. I mean, Divine Nine. I mean, I know that you are Sigma Gamma Rho and I'm Omega, and I know that we do scholarships, and most people don't realize that. So can you talk a little bit about that it's not too late and a benefit of starting in the 9th grade? Because I think we have some people here that may be sophomores or juniors, and they need to know, hey, it's not too early.
Right. Yes, definitely. So the thing is, it's never too early and it's never too late. I come across scholarships even for 6th grade students. So there's a lot of contests. More times than not, I find that for the underclassmen, the younger students, especially those that are just even before high school, there are a lot of contest type opportunities. So it may be a Google contest, it may be a creative arts contest, but they kind of cover all grade levels. So I would definitely start as early as 9th grade, even though there are some award opportunities available to even earlier than that, but even after high school as well. And a tip for you all, so this process is ongoing. It's not about okay, I need to apply during junior and senior year. Yes, you're going to definitely submit most of your applications during your junior and senior year, but be mindful that these scholarship opportunities are typically for 1 year. So be mindful that, yes, you may secure some scholarship money or some funding for your freshman year in college, but then what? What's going to happen for your sophomore year? What's going to happen for your junior year? You have to reapply for these scholarship opportunities. So you will apply, yes, as a junior, senior, secure the funds for your freshman year in college, but the buck doesn't stop there. You need to keep going literally and apply for more, even your freshman year in college, throughout college. That's where I fell short. I actually applied for over 30 scholarships and I landed 10 as a high school senior. And then, so only one of those opportunities repeated throughout the course of my college career, but the others were only for 1 year. So I found that during my sophomore year, I still needed additional resources secured. So I had to go back to the drawing board and continue to search for scholarships for college students and keep applying. And the other thing, before I continue though, actually, I want to make mention that I think when I hit the record button, which I would love to record so I can share this after the session, but I believe it disabled the chat. So like you all have been doing, feel free to send us questions and answers. That's open. And I'm able to give you guys the links via that method. So just drop us a message in that Q&A portion, and we can definitely answer questions, and I can give the links in that way. The other thing, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let me just go white, and maybe you can put it because you started on it. Somebody wants to know, can you just tell us a little bit more about these renewable scholarships? Because I think kids think that I got this and I can get it next year, but they also need to be aware you can lose a scholarship, and especially in Georgia, when it comes to Hope and Zaya Miller, like, okay, I got it.
Absolutely.
You want to go ahead and just address about the renewable scholarships?
Yes. Let me finish my earlier thought though, really quickly before I talk about that, because I wanted to echo what you said, Mr. Davis, about extracurricular activities. So I want students to know that, yes, you do need community service. You need those things that are going to help you stand out from your competitors. So it's not enough just to have a 3.0 GPA and above, and you're doing well, and you have a decent score on the SATs or ACTs. You also want to be well-rounded. And that's the same thing that goes true for colleges as well. They want to know that you are a comprehensive student able to contribute to their campus in unique ways. How are you going to stand out from your competitor? Are you involved in, let's see, community service organizations via your church, via Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, through your athletic department? Are you working a part-time job? All those things that make you stand out and able to show that you're doing more than just academics. And so about renewable scholarships, they vary. So you're going to find that when you start searching for scholarships, they're going to tell you if it is just a one-time award or if it is renewable. So in terms of accessing those, what I would do, because a lot of times when you seek out different scholarships via certain websites, and all the websites that I'm mentioning or I'm going to mention today, you guys are in that digital resource guide that I dropped the link to in the Q&A. So when you message me, I'll give you guys a link to that. But I just wanted to mention that when you're searching through those websites, for example, scholarships.com or even fastweb.com or KPEX, et cetera, you are not able to filter those results based on renewable or one-time awards. It's going to allow you to filter those results based on your students' demographics, background, area of interest, those kinds of things, grade level, those types of demographic type questions. However, when you're looking for a renewable versus one time, honestly, I know this is going to sound simple, but I would recommend that you Google that. I would recommend that you Google renewable scholarships for whatever your background is, whether it be African-American students or Hispanic students or, Caucasian, whatever your ethnicity is. I would recommend you just Google that and start from there, because a lot of times these different scholarship search engines will not allow you to search renewable, those specific features. So you can see if there are those type of filters available. Maybe Georgia Futures is another website, but again, you don't have to worry about taking notes and jotting down these different websites that I'm mentioning. It's all in the digital resource guide that I put in the Q&A. So thank you for that question about renewable versus one time. That is so important. So you'll find that a lot of the big ticket scholarships like Coca-Cola Foundation, for example, or 5 Strong, or those different larger scholarship amounts, those are renewable. And you're going to find Dell Scholars Program has a huge one. And those will require a lot more from the student, which is definitely worth putting, your students' best foot forward and definitely applying. But be mindful that a lot of those scholarships students steer away from because it is a lot of work. Or on the flip side, you have a lot of those 4.0 students who are really competing for those big top dollar scholarships, and they're in it to win it as well. So you need to be willing to roll your sleeves up and do the work with regards to the lengthy essay. If it's 3 to 5 pages, hey, that's to whom much is given, much is required. So you're going to need to put forth a lot more energy and effort for those top dollar big name scholarships. And those are going to be the ones that are renewable.
Evan, I wanted to talk about, and I found out that, my alumni chapter, we normally give scholarships every year. And some of the issues that we have, and I think it may turn off certain students, is I don't want to write. I don't want to, the scholarship is asking me to write an essay. And we found out that a lot of our students have difficulties trying to put that essay together, and not only just high school students, we've also experienced that with some college students. So can you give some tips? Because a lot of our students, they may be writing an essay, but that essay may be the reason they're not getting that scholarship. So can you talk a bit about how and what that essay should look like?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, and just kind of run through. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, so do not be alarmed by the actual, presentation, but this is going to help me organize my thoughts more. So this is basically the slideshow that I typically deliver for essay writing tips. And I'm going to start from the beginning, but just zoom through it. So bear with me. All right, here we go. So number one, definitely before I continue, is developing a winner's mindset. So whatever that takes, Mr. Davis, these students need to know all the attributes that they have to offer. So what makes them special? And if it takes you asking your peers, your friends, your parents, your siblings, whomever, to ask them, hey, what are the top 3 attributes that you like about me? Just to kind of get you in the right mood and energy, because when it comes to these essays, it's your time to brag. You have to brag on yourself. Just think about your brag sheet that you provide to your school counselor with regards to your unique skill sets, your GPA, your SAT, ACT score, etc. Turn that brag sheet into a mentality. How are you going to encompass or shift to that mindset of I'm pretty awesome. I'm pretty good, because that's what you need to channel, that type of energy, in order to be ready to brag about yourself. Now, this is also in my scholarship workbook, so I will mention that at the very end. But I did write an essay. This is my award-winning essay, and it's included in the book, that won me over 10 scholarships that funded my first year in college. And it's not lengthy, as you guys just saw. So real quickly, we're going to go through the top 15 essay writing rules for success. And so a lot of it's going to be common sense, but stay with me, and that's why we're going to breeze through these. Okay, so number 1 is staying on topic. You'll find that you'll be passionate about something and you'll love the topic at hand, and you may find that you can easily steer away from the actual topic that they were asking you or addressing you. So make sure you do that. That's the easiest way for your essay to get eliminated if you're not staying on topic. Pick the best prompt that speaks to you. So which prompt is actually, you may get several options. A lot of times I'm finding that scholarship committees will give you 2 to 3 essay prompts to choose from. So speak to the one that's tugging at your heartstring, that you have a good story behind, or a good inspirational thing to write about. So follow the golden thread. Make sure your essay has a theme that's woven from the beginning to the end. So if you're going to talk about who's inspirational to you, make sure that that's evident in your introduction paragraph, as well as your supporting argument, and then your conclusion. So you want to make sure that that theme is evident throughout. They don't have to search for it. They don't have to figure out, well, where is this person going with the point that they're making, but it's evident throughout all the pieces tie together. The next thing is know your audience. So for example, if you know that you are applying for a Chick-fil-A scholarship, and Chick-fil-A has a religious affiliation, and you may be under the same affiliation, or you may not, but you know that their main purpose is to help people. They believe their mission is in helping people, and they stand on that. So if you know that about a company or any other company, you want to speak to that purpose, and you want to somehow intertwine their company's mission and vision with your essay. That's how you're going to appeal to them. That's how you're going to draw them in, right? The next thing is proofread. I cannot say that enough. Students, please do not write your essays. I don't care if it's asking for 250 words or 500 words. Do not write your essay on your phone. Okay, please go on your Microsoft Word document, or if you're using your Google Doc, whatever it is, make sure you are using a platform that is going to provide you with a high quality, perfectly structured essay, free from grammatical errors, spelling errors, things of that nature. This is not the time to use slang or just shortchange and use shorthand text via your phone. Okay, so please, and then you're gonna make sure you ask your teacher, your English teacher preferably, your guidance counselor, your school counselor can definitely proofread it for you. They'll be proofreading it for content, not necessarily for the grammatical spelling errors. That'll be your English teacher. Your friend, make sure your family member looks at it. You want to get several eyes on this draft, and then that'll help you also finalize your overall essay. And then when you think you've done enough proofreading, proofread it again. All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Well, let me, there's a question.
Okay, sure. Go for it.
And you can just probably put it in what you're saying, that a lot of times people think, oh, I don't have the grades. I don't have the average for the scholarships, that they think all of the scholarships are for 3 point.
Oh, no. Yeah.
A lot of scholarships. I mean, some as like, hey, you know, maybe you weren't doing well. Sometimes you're in school.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't click. It doesn't, like, you're not taking this serious, but a lot of them, when they ask you to write that essay and some life experience. So how do you address, I mean, should a parent or a student be discouraged if he or she had, let's say, between a 2.5, anything less than a 3.0 in getting scholarships?
Absolutely not. They should not be discouraged, right? There, again, like I said earlier, there are scholarships literally for everybody. And some of them are not merit-based. Some of them are based on your areas of interest, whether or not you're interested in going into the veterinarian field or the medical field, or the, let's see, what else? The lawyer degree, getting your law degree. I mean, there's so many different avenues. So based on your career interests is what I'm trying to say. Based on you being left-handed, there's a left-handed scholarship out there. There is a scholarship also for students who are beneath 5 feet tall. So if you're under 5 feet tall, there's a scholarship for you. There are scholarships for just your demographic background. If you're African-American, if you're first-generation college student, if you're English as second language, if you're a DACA student, if you are, so all of these other qualities, they go well beyond just your grade point average. But you definitely want to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
How do you find these scholarships that are below, you know, saying, I got a 2.5. Where can I find, where can a student, where can a parent go to find these scholarships?
Yeah, on the websites that I mentioned earlier. So all the scholarships that I post on my social media weekly. So remember, at 52 weeks in a year, I post, and I have way more than 52 scholarships to share. So I have no problem sharing, again, limitless amounts of scholarships. I don't have the time or energy to do it every day. There are several platforms that do post scholarships every day. For example, it's on the spread, it's on my digital resource guide, but there's several groups on Facebook, Scholarships for Everyone, Georgia. That's on Facebook. It's a group that you can join. They post daily. The Scholarship Club, the scholarship is with the $, Scholarship Club on Facebook, a group. You can get into that group for free, and they post by the hour, actually. There's so many resources. So absolutely, there are so many scholarships for everyone. GPA is not the primary factor. And so so what you can do is you can filter your results. When you're going on the FastWeb website that I mentioned earlier, and that's in the spreadsheet, the digital resource guide, when you're going on PayPex, when you're going on Scholarship B, Scholarship OWL, all these different Scholarly app, all these different websites are coming to me as I'm speaking. Good call. So these are all by memory because they've been around for years. They're all credible websites. And so what you'll do is when you go into those websites, you'll use their filter results, and you can filter it based on GPA, filter it based on your major, filter it based on your extracurricular activity, whether you're in athletics, whether you are in the marching band. You can filter it for all these different categories. So just those specific scholarships will come up in that search engine that you're on. And so the next step would be to enter those scholarships into that scholarship organizer that I shared via the chat and then also the Q&A earlier. I'll drop those back again in the Q&A, but it's an ongoing cyclical process, right? So I don't want to, I'll just keep going with the essays. So I want to speak to this though. So don't hold back and be courageous. And also you have a story to tell. All these basically lend to the fact that you need to be sharing things with the scholarship committee that's not evident on your transcripts or on in your test scores, okay? So this is an opportunity for you to bring them into your life. They don't want to see fluff. They don't want to read about how you just, went from having all F's to all A's in one year, unless it's something, tragic or significant that happened in your life. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a sob story either, where you're kind of playing the violin and just singing the woe is me, unless there is a flip side to it where you're showing an upward trajectory of success. Like, this is how I overcame something. This is how I, surpassed people's beliefs about me. This is how I flipped the script and changed my life around. Those kinds of stories are what they want to hear about. And the rest of my tips basically speak to counting your words, making sure that you're following the essay prompt, being honest. Plagiarism is real. They will definitely do some research. Be concise, stick to the word limit. If they're telling you that they want your essay to be 500 words, do not make it 501 words thinking that it's okay and they'll be fine. No, that you need to stick to the 500 word count if that's what they're asking you to do. Okay. What else was there? So the essay writing techniques. Also, I want to show you, if you don't mind, Mr. Davis, right? If I show okay. So I wanted to share on my Instagram how I post weekly. So you'll see if you go to my Instagram, which is just Succeed Drive, you can connect with me, do the @ symbol, SUCCEED, and then DRIVE, all together, Succeed Drive. And so it's up here at the top. What I do weekly is I post Show Me the Money Mondays. I put the link in my bio to the current opportunity that I'm sharing about. So this week's feature is the Ryan Nicole Faulkner Scholarship. When you click on it, you'll find all of the criteria, all the details that this scholarship requires. So, for example, this scholarship consists of a housing stipend to be used by an incoming freshman at an HBCU. What's an HBCU, you ask? That's a historically Black college and university. This recipient will receive $500 a month for 4 years. So those of you all who asked about the repeated, or renewable scholarships, here you are. Now, the one hook to this one is I don't have it in the description, but you do have to maintain also a 3.0 while you're in college. And so, like I said earlier, to whom much is given, much is required. They're going to want to see you shine. So they're not giving their money. Mr. Davis can speak to this. They're not trying to give their money to someone just for the sake of saying they did it. No, they want you to utilize the money, put it to good use, and make sure you're proving yourself that you're worthy of that scholarship. So for them, the hook is you have to maintain that GPA. This one is due on May 1st, which I believe is on Monday. So you have over the weekend to get this done. It's not too late. Again, that's $2,400 total. This might be what Mr. Davis needs for his side.
So, Evan, tell, because I know that you have it, and I think you said if they were to send whatever or get on your Instagram, that they can get those weekly. So tell them exactly what they need to do so they can be getting this information.
Yeah, so for me, and I'm going to tell you multiple people to follow on Instagram, for example. There's different social media sites, but mine in particular is Succeed Drive. It's right there. Actually, it's on the screen. So if you look at the screen that we're sharing, at the bottom of the image, you'll see @Succeed Drive. That right there, that is my Instagram handle. So just go onto Instagram, search Succeed Drive, and you'll find me. And then you can follow me that way. And then I post every Monday. So again, my schedule and my time commitment is a little tight. So I can commit to every Monday. I've been doing this for years, though, not missing a Monday. So yearly, you can count on me throughout the entire year to post different scholarship opportunities. They will vary, though. I like to do a variety. So you may see that I'll post some for ninth through 12th grade, some maybe for college students. So and it's a variety of different amounts as well. I don't post just the top scholarships. I also post the ones that are for $500, $2,000, $5,000. So my thing is that money adds up. So you're going to find that a lot of your students will apply for the top dollar scholarships because they're appealing. I get it. You know, who doesn't want to apply for a $20,000 scholarship like this one? But their counterparts are not applying for the $500 scholarship because they're thinking, oh, that's just $500. I'll let that one go. But you might be the only person to apply, thus getting the money. That's happened to me now twice in life, where I was the only person that applied for it and I got the award. So do not overlook those small amounts.
Yeah, and you saying 500 may not be a lot, but it can certainly get some books.
It can certainly get some books. They can pay for that gas money that you need to go back and forth to and from home, maybe a flight, a ticket home, maybe spring break. I didn't have a lot of money when I was in college, so I had to tell my friends to have fun. It's their spring break. I was going right back home for a free experience at home. So,
and I noticed something when we got our, like I said, my son, he said, okay, I'm going to Columbus. And then when they sent the awards letter, it was something in there like transportation, like you need to budget for your child to come home. I'm like, we don't even need this part. I'm sorry, but I was amazed to see that. And I'm like, well, what is this for? Well, in case your student needs money for, to come back and forth. I'm like, no, when I take him, he stays until Christmas or whatever. Because, and I'm going to say this to a lot of,
it's so funny
out here, is that when you go away, I know it can be a new experience.
Right.
I don't see any reason why you would want to come home.
Yes.
For the weekend. And the reason I say that is, and I'm not trying to say it in a negative way,
right?
But if you're saying, well, I want to go home and see my friends, I'm like, well, your friends didn't go nowhere.
Right.
Your friends still hanging in the street. Now, I've had some clients in the past, like they came home to see their friends and then they never went back because they locked up hanging with grown people. So I'm just like, I don't see a reason why you would want to come home.
I agree.
I've never seen a college for you to say it's boring, because there's always something on a college campus that you can do. And
absolutely.
That you getting in a car coming back home.
Yeah. You do miss out on so much. I agree, Mr. Davis. You miss out on a lot that happens on the weekends. And so I agree that I'm glad that you mentioned that. In order to get the full experience and to really spread your wings, there's a lot of clubs, and obviously you're a part of the Divine Nine, and so am I. But there's so many different ways to network and expand your knowledge base, your experiences. A lot of these jobs, a lot of these companies not only want you to graduate with a degree, they want you to graduate with some experience as well. They want you to get an internship, study abroad, even. Take advantage of all the resources that your campus has to offer that go well beyond academics. So I agree. Stay on campus. I had a roommate that went home every weekend, and I loved it because I had the whole room to myself. But I was like, well, why? She's going home to do laundry. You can do laundry on campus. So I agree, to get the full experience, stay on campus, stay, on the campus in terms of not going home every weekend, because there's so much to be learned and experienced, getting a part-time job even.
And I think when you stay on campus, that gets you to be more involved.
Yes.
So that question earlier, how do I get these scholarships after my freshman year? It's like there's a lot of things that going, and you're adding to that experience, because some places like, okay, what have you been doing on your college campus?
Right, exactly. Yes.
The question is like, explain your college experience up to this. What is the date? So if you're home, you don't get to have that experience. So a lot of times, even when we talk about scholarships, you got to realize that, you can get in, you can get some money, but what are you going to do as a student to make sure that you can continue to qualify for scholarships? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So like you said, I know it's going to be a transition. I myself can attest to that. Attending college as a freshman, it's like doing high school all over again. So you're the underdog all over again, and you're entering as a college freshman, trying to find your classes, trying to build that rapport with teachers, trying to just find your groove and figure out how are you going to be successful. So I would say a couple things. So in order to qualify for the scholarships, obviously you want to maintain a strong GPA. Obviously, you want to maintain a strong GPA, because what if you decide to go to graduate school? You're going to have to reapply for graduate schools to get accepted, and they're going to look at your GPA and your GRE, your graduate record exam, right? So they're going to need still to see your credentials. So learn your professor's office hours, see if you can become a part of a study group, get some tutoring if needed, but stay connected so that your GPA is always strong, and that hopefully that will allow you to maintain eligibility for a lot of these scholarships. Also staying active. So whether it be joining a sorority or fraternity, or joining, I joined the NAACP on campus. That was an awesome experience. I was the education chair. And let's see what else. There's obviously athletics. There are several different kinds of clubs on campus. And when you all do your college visits, that should be the time in which you're asking about these different opportunities. So when y'all are doing campus tours, a lot of us look at just what the campus looks like, what the dorms look like, or what the meal plan is, what kind of food are they serving. But you also want to look at, okay, what kind of clubs and other activities are available to me on campus? What can I become a part of? And those are the kinds of things that still make you stand out and make you more competitive when you are applying for scholarships, as well as postgraduate work. What if you, again, decide to get your master's degree or your PhD or your MD or your JD, whatever degrees, post-extended degrees that you all want to get, you want to be mindful of that. So I also want to mention, Mr. Davis, on my Instagram, I have another great link that I didn't want to fail to mention. So the last week's Monday post was the 31 scholarships for students to apply for over summer break. So I want to encourage my current seniors, graduating seniors, you all need to live in this document. Now, I know the link is long. It's actually in the description. The link in my bio is the link to the current scholarship that I posted, but this one has numerous resources that are still available. The actual title will say 2021, but 2022, but they are updated with 2023 scholarship opportunities. So go ahead and type that URL or copy and paste it into your URL so that you can access all of these amazing scholarships that you may or may not have been aware of. And get to work. It's time to roll up your sleeves and get this work in, get these applications in now. A lot of you seniors are getting ready to take your AP exams and take your end of course test and put that behind you. So that's great. Hopefully don't just kick up your feet and relax once you all graduate, or as you enter into that kind of season of rest. Yes, it's season of rest, and it's season for transition into the next phase, but also don't forget there is money to be had. There is free money. If Mr. Davis and I sat here on this call for the next 30 minutes and said, hey, the person who writes a 500-word essay about where do they see themselves in the next 5 years, and you'll get $500 for the winner, you all would write that essay right now. You would have your computers open because it's instant and you can see it right now. But you have to approach this process with the future in mind, with the hopes of, yes, I can receive this. A lot of my students think small. They think, oh, what can I do now to receive the benefit of my hard work now? Everything is kind of microwave. It's kind of easy and instant. But if everything is not instant, I know we're so used to everything coming to us fast. Amazon deliveries, myself included, Grubhub, Uber Eats, everything is so fast now, easy access. But with this process, you have to marinate in it. You have to be patient, and you have to just go the long haul. The process is not for the faint at heart. It's for the ones that are in it to win. It's a marathon. You have to be really in it to win it. And so before I get off of the Instagram, because I want you guys to see one more resource that I put in the chat, and then I also put in the Q&A. So this is the scholarship application organizer that I was speaking about earlier. So Again, as I said earlier, you don't have to be a junior or senior to start this process. If you are a ninth grader or sophomore, you can start to, when you're searching for those scholarships via the resource that I mentioned earlier, my digital guide that I gave you guys access to, you're finding the scholarships. Where are you putting them? Hopefully you're not just writing them down or putting them in a Word document and then just kind of washing your hands of it. No, this application organizer should be on your computer desktop. And so that you are dropping the scholarship name, you're putting the month and year to apply, the URL, so the website in which you can find it, the direct link to them. You don't necessarily need the address. I have a lot of different columns on here that you guys can go ahead and delete if you deem necessary. But this is important, the criteria, so that you'll know exactly what are they requesting, what are they asking for. Is it going to require, the deadline is most important, obviously, so you can prioritize your process. Recommendation letters, is there going to be a recommendation letter that's required? Do I need to solicit the help of my school counselor or my teacher? Essay, does it require an essay? Is it going to ask for a transcript or a resume? And the list goes on. The other most important thing for my seniors that are looking at scholarship opportunities and want to know, okay, well, Ms. Payno, when will I hear from this scholarship? A lot of these scholarship committees will put the, and I think somebody must have deleted it. It was this column here, but you want to put the award, the announcement date, right? You want to know exactly when are they going to make the announcement. Have that here, because when it's time for you to pay that registration fee for your classes, they're going to be asking you for that. You want to know, well, I haven't heard from this scholarship yet. When will I find out if I've received this money? So for all of your scholarships, make sure that you list them here. And if you don't have it on here, create a column that is for your announcement date, your award date, so you'll know when to hear back.
Where can I get the scholarship application organizer from?
That is on the link that I dropped in the chat. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick.
No, I mean, I think we had some questions that people couldn't see the chat, but I put it so everybody should have the link.
Okay.
3 different links. So
okay.
I just want to, I'm gonna let you go ahead, but if you have any questions, you can put it in the message, or if you want to ask a question, just let me know, and then I will allow you can directly just ask Ebony a question, but you can go ahead. Ebony,
yes.
I saw one of the most again interesting scholarships, and it was at Columbus, because that's where the decision is made. The servant leadership. Servant leadership. Incoming student can apply, and it's based on community service.
Okay.
And $2,500.
Wow.
Once you get in it, and we talked about continuing scholarships, then you stay in it, and each year, if you stay in it, and all it is community service.
Okay.
And what it asks you to do is participate in one of the campus community activities once a week.
Oh, wow.
Now, here's the kicker. Get a $1,500 stipend.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I didn't say a scholarship.
Right. Yeah.
But you can use it for your tuition.
Whatever you want. Yeah.
But they are basically saying, if you're going to do community service, we're going to pay you $1,500 a semester. So I had to tell the boy, like, look, you need to.
Oh, yeah.
Because, community. And I think it's a good thing, because I'm of the opinion that a lot of our young people don't like to do community service. But I found a lot of students that because they wanted the hours, they got into it and they really enjoyed the opportunity. And there are a great deal of scholarships out there for community service.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. And that's one of the things that you can definitely filter your results. So when you're looking at, I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see the actual websites that we put in the digital resource guide. And you have that link, and we'll share it again. Just again, go ahead and send us a message in the Q&A if you did not get the links. So let me scroll down. So this is what I've been mentioning earlier. These are the top SWD. Let me just delete that. The top scholarship sites that I recommend. And this list is not exhaustive of all of the scholarship opportunities that are out there. There's so many websites, you all, that have been created for this purpose because the need is so great. So the need is so great, so much so that when I first started speaking about scholarships, and I would love, let me ask you, Mr. Davis, and you may remember from my presentation, but do you know what the national student loan debt average is right now on a national basis? Like how much money is owed total in student loans?
It's $1 billion. It's almost $1 billion or something. Yeah.
It's more than that. When I first started doing this presentation, it was $1.5 trillion. Now, and that was in 2016. Now, 7 years later, the national student loan debt average has surpassed $1.75 trillion. That is amazing to me. So I'm saying that to say that the need for scholarships is so great, that there are so many websites that have been created to support students and parents in this process. So these are just the top websites that I've exhausted. These are where I find my scholarship opportunities. I vet them. I make sure that they are credible. FastWeb, you have to be 16 years old to create an account with FastWeb. That's the top one that I have here is where they will actually email you scholarship opportunities. So once you create your profile, for example, African-American, I'm a graduating senior, high school senior. I'm interested in sports. I have a 3.5 GPA, et cetera. The list goes on. Once you create your profile, they will start to email you scholarships that you meet the criteria for. And what I would recommend you do is create a junk or separate email address for spam, because this is free. It's a free service. So they may end up, giving you a lot of junk email or spam your account. So I would suggest that for this purpose, and also just in general, create a separate email account. Don't use your personal email account. College Express is big. I love College Express. They offer a lot of great, not only just scholarship websites and resources. They also offer a lot of great tips. All the tips that Mr. Davis is sharing and kind of engaging me with conversation. College Express covers it and gives you a lot of resources to help you become successful in college. It's one thing, you all, to get into college, but to stay there and also to graduate is a whole separate journey. Okay, we talk about, after freshman year, students that don't come back to college, that retention rate is so important. So when you are doing college visits, I know I'm kind of on a tangent. This is the high school counselor hat in me, but you want to make sure you're asking them about retention rates and also job employment rates. So what percentage of their graduates actually get employed once they graduate? And then what's their retention rate from freshman year to sophomore year? How many students are staying in college, and what support do they provide to ensure that your student will stay in school and be successful?
Well, I mean, when I went to school, when I went down to Fort Valley, like they just dropped me in the country and I was just there. Didn't know anybody. Well, I knew my roommate, because me and my roommate, we went to elementary school, high school, and played football together. But that just still didn't work out, even though I knew him. But I realized there's a picture that I have that when you go to school, you get, you know how we get, I guess, our little clique of new friends. So I had this group of new friends. And we were like freshmen together. We would hang out. We would go to different events. And we took a picture. And I still have that picture to this day. And it 8 of us in that picture. And I realized to this day, and I think I've shared this with some young people that I've talked to, that I am the only one in that picture that graduated.
Wow, Mr. Davis.
In that picture that finished, because and it wasn't the money thing. It was like, I'm not going to class. I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that. So while we're talking about getting money to go to school for scholarships, the worst thing is that your parents here in December is like, you didn't do nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So you lost your hope for Zale scholarship.
Absolutely.
Because you was playing. So when we talk about scholarships, it's one thing to get them. And back to that earlier question, it's another whole different thing to maintain them.
Absolutely.
And seek some new ones, because I know that even when my chapter looks into scholarship, and I know that our scholarship chairperson was on here earlier, is that we want to monitor if we're giving you money,
Mm-hmm.
then we don't want to look back and say, oh, what's the purpose of saying we gave $5,000 in freshman scholarship and they flunked out and they're not back that second year?
Yep,
So
exactly.
it's a lot that goes into
Yes.
it. So,
Yep.
I mean, can you just sort of tie
Yeah.
on like, hey, I'm in school, I've
Yeah.
taken first year money thing. Now, what do I really need to be focused? Because at that
Yeah.
point, you put
Yeah.
yourself in a position where, okay,
Absolutely.
maybe I didn't have a 3.0, but college
Mhm.
is a new opportunity and new.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So one thing I'd recommend, I'm going to come back to that guide because I want to there's a couple more resources in there that I want to make sure you all know that's in there. But I'm going to stop sharing while we do this part. So one thing I would recommend is finding a trusted adult on campus. So when you're starting college and you're a freshman, a lot of the reason behind a lot of students dropping out or just not coming back sophomore year is they're not connected. We talked about being connected earlier as well, but connected to the right people. So number one, are you connected to a mentor of some sort on campus? A lot of schools have now, adopted a freshman advisory program or some type of a mentorship program where all freshmen meet with their advisor weekly or monthly to get that support. So that's one thing. Second thing is who's in your circle. So a lot of times we birds of a feather flock together. So be mindful of the company you keep. If they're in the quad hanging out every day and not going to class, we already know what their end result's going to be with regards to financial aid probation or academic probation, things of that nature. So you want to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with individuals that are not only like-minded, but also better than you. So in high school, same thing happened in college. I hung out with the cool kids, but I was also friends with the smart kids too. I was with them as well. I made sure that I sat next to the smartest kid in the class so that I can ask questions and he could be my study buddy. Because of course I was going to have fun. I did pledge a sorority. I lived my life in college. I had a great time, but also surrounded myself with like-minded individuals. But I also made sure that I was tapped into specific experiences. I had an internship in New York and advertisement. So in advertising, right off Broadway, realized that, bubbly I am right now, that was not the right fit for me. So I flew all the way back home. I got paid to do it though. It was a paid internship. It was great. But I found out through that experience that was not for me. So sometimes certain open doors will you'll be able to discover things about yourself that works or doesn't work for you. So staying connected is so key. Staying connected to individuals on campus, but also staying plugged in. Another point to add to Mr. Davis, what he said earlier about being involved and not going home. You have to create a sense of purpose on campus, so you have that sense of belonging, and that's what's going to sustain you throughout your college career. So don't sell that short. You got to stay. It sounds so easy, but stay involved on campus. That's really going to lend to you being successful and crossing that finish line.
Yes. And don't be thinking that your parents miss you. You need to come home. They don't miss you. And it is a difference. Like, hey, you got FaceTime, you got this, you got that. And I do know first year can be something and you want to reach out, but you don't have to come home. Like if I have a problem, like let me go home. I can just time and like mama or daddy.
Exactly.
Because we're talking about scholarships, but I think the key point, at least I think Ebony too, is like it's not so much what's going to happen that freshman year, but I want you to finish and graduate and be a college graduate. Everybody can go to college. Everybody don't finish.
Exactly.
It is the worst thing is to be there and don't finish because you don't have enough funds when we're telling you there's money to be got.
There is.
To do that. Now, if it's something, other stuff, but don't let financing college be whatever. Now, it is, I think a former Secretary of Education said, if you think college is expensive, try ignorance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Try student loan debt. That's expensive too. Student loan debt is really expensive and can also dampen your financial plans. So be mindful. I love that you said that. That is so important.
So I
So
think, go ahead, Ebony.
well, before we conclude with questions, I just wanted to make sure, because the last thing I spoke earlier about making sure that you're positioning yourself to receive all of this information, social media is key. So, no shade or no shame, excuse me, no shame in my game, but I did drop my social media site, but I want to make sure you are aware of other very, very helpful and key social media sites that you need to follow or join the group. So that's in my digital resource guide. One person that I want to shout out on here on this list is _ growing with Gabby. It's kind of toward the bottom of the list, but _ growing with Gabby is phenomenal. She creates TikTok videos, things that I don't have the time to do, and other types of resources for you. And she has earned herself over $2 million in scholarships. And so she is talking the talk and walking the walk. And she also attends an Ivy League school. And so she has her own platform, but she shares scholarship opportunities all the time. And so with all of these resources, I talk about in my presentation, you have to be hungry. Where is that drive and that hunger coming from when you are approaching this process, whether it be searching through your websites or your social media sites? This is your buffet. This is where you eat. This is where you eat and become plentiful. And then you shift gears once you've found some scholarships that you want to apply for, whether it be currently or in the near future. You add those resources to your spreadsheet that I shared earlier, that Excel spreadsheet, so you can organize it. My parents on the call. So parents, how can you help? In the digital resource guide, I have a list of different ways that you can hopefully motivate and support your student in this mission. So one thing that's very easy is to make them your accountability partner. So holding them accountable. Hey, so-and-so, I said, which day of the week are you going to commit to this process? Oh, great. You selected Sunday after dinner. Perfect. 30 minutes a week, maybe an hour a week. Great. So which ones are you applying for this week? And then let's do a checklist, or maybe even on that spreadsheet, you can create a column that says parent check off, meaning that they saw that and they know that that's the one that you're working on. So hold them accountable, setting a weekly scholarship searching schedule. Some people have these not laminated, but the dry erase calendars that you can put on your wall and put the scholarships there, so you see that they're coming for that month, and you're becoming more organized. And it's a family approach. We're all kind of in the know with the effort that's being taken, and it's just there's different ideas like that, creating incentivizing the process with your kids. And so on and so forth. So there's other things on there, and this is the step-by-step guide for this process. So you can see that's also included in my book that I sell. It's called Not Your Average Scholarship Workbook, Leading Students to Success from Start to Finish. So a lot of the things that we mentioned today. I
think it's a great book. I've had the book. I think my son has. I have the other educator's resource book. So how can parents or students get this book?
Oh yeah, I was going there next. So I segued into my book to go to the next part. So yeah, I do have. So the book is available, full confession, on Amazon as well. Amazon, if that's your easier way of receiving products, go ahead and do Amazon. But I have it on the screen as well. It's called Not Your Average Scholarship Workbook. So Not Your Average Scholarship Workbook. The Not Your Average Educator Resource Book, that's more so for parents or for typically educators or school counselors, because a lot of the information in there is covering not just the academic planning stuff, not scholarships, it's covering academic planning, it's covering social emotional learning by way of peer mentoring. Also, there's a college and career fair component. So it's really how to put on these programs. But there are some bits and pieces that parents find of value as well. But primarily the Not Your Average Scholarship Workbook, Leading Students to Success from Start to Finish. And it's in the title. Literally, that's exactly what it is. It walks the students from beginning to end with regards to the financial aid process at a glance. What does that entail? How do you organize that process itself? And then how do you prepare for essay writing? There are essay writing tips in the book. spaces for you all to kind of get some sample topics and actually brainstorm in the book, organizational tools that I recommend, and then also just different key websites and the purpose behind those tools. So if I have FastWeb on there, great. What is FastWeb? How do I maximize my success in that platform? So those are that's the book in a nutshell, but I find that it's very helpful to actually, it's a workbook, meaning you're going to work through it in order to become successful. I'm in the process right now of creating other fun resources. I hope to create a game one day that makes this process more enjoyable, because I know there's nothing that's going to diminish or dismiss the fact that it's hard work. It's going to be hard work. It's going to take your time, your energy, you actually, searching and being organized and and just being, in it to win it. There's nothing that's going to shortchange the fact that it's going to take work. But when it's free money, come on now. If it's free money at your fingertips, and the odds are against you with the national student loan debt average being over $1.7 trillion, you have no one else to point to or blame but yourself if you don't apply. So apply now and thank me later is my slogan. And my slogan is no excuses, because we make time for the things that are important to us. So again, if me and Mr. Davis went in right now, $250 each, and said, oh, we're going to extend this call for an hour. For those of you who do the essay, you will sit on this call for another hour to get that $500, because it's right now, it's here, it's in your face. So treat this process like that.
Okay. I don't think we have any more questions, but I think Evan has covered a great deal, and this is being recorded, so I will have it to share. And I think everybody should be able to get the links. She gave 3 different links, so I think hopefully if you can just get those links and copy them so you can follow up. But I will say, get the book, parents, students. I mean, get the book. I mean, the book will, especially for those who may be juniors or below, get the book. And it's not too late for seniors, because you got the summer. And even if it's like you're not able to get something later, but it'll help you, going back to that question, what about these renewing scholarships as a sophomore, junior? So the book will also help with that and provide information. So I would say just check the links, and I would say any other place this would have been a cost. I ran into Evan. It's not the first time I saw her somewhere, and I asked her, could we do this? And she gave time to do this, and I thought it would be helpful, because I just think it's important that we share information with everybody. So she did put the information about the book. So I would ask that you get the book and make sure you get the links, and I will provide the links also when we do this recording, so you can have it. So Evan, thank you very much. And anybody, like she said, get on her Instagram, send her a message.
Yes.
Because she's more than willing to talk to you as a parent or individual to help. Her payment is being a difference maker.
Yes, absolutely.
So I would say take advantage of that, because parents, students, there are a lot of people out there want to probably charge you a whole lot to do it, but she's giving more. Not only she's giving more, but she's dedicated and she's concerned. So I want to thank her again for taking the time to do this, and I hope everybody taking advantage of it. And maybe we'll follow up and we'll do something again in the future.
Sounds good, Mr. Davis. I appreciate you. Appreciate your dedication and passion for helping students as well. As an educator, we appreciate people like you. We need more people like you in the community, in the school building. So I know plenty that are doing the work. And so, yeah, you're just one of, the few gems that we have. So we just thank you and appreciate you as well.
All right. Thank you. And thank everybody. All right.
Here. Okay. So